Hey, Eskimo Brothers Reviews here, reviewing Dr. No from 1962, the first official James Bond movie. To give a brief synopsis, in this movie, James Bond investigates the death of an agent in Jamaica. Fairly low budget production, but it works for what it is. One of the things you'll see at the very beginning is the famous gun barrel sequence that they still have going on today. It was from the very beginning. One of the things you won't recognize from most of the movies is it goes into the song Three Blind Mice. And the music is, they hadn't quite got it down yet. It's okay for what it is, given the context of the times. But if you just showed someone who doesn't know, and they're completely unprepared to see a movie from the 60s, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is with this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've heard it described as Tom and Jerry music, where like the orchestral sounds react to what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, this is the very beginning, first movie. They hadn't quite got the formula down yet. They had some things down, Bond, James Bond. They had the intro, they had the exotic locations, which is a staple of all these movies. 90% of the time in the whole James Bond series, when they say they're at somewhere, they're actually there. They spent the money and they go there. So they have that, fast cars, beautiful women, eye candy for the ladies, typically with the lead actor.
And fighting and explosions.
Random explosions coming out of cars, yes. That happens. Obvious Smirnoff product placements.
Yes.
Anytime there's vodka on the screen, at least in this movie, it is Smirnoff. I did notice also a lot of the characters are they're coy, but for no reason. Like Quarrel, he's very uncooperative at first.
Yeah.
And there's really no reason for him to be uncooperative other than if you're watching a movie.
Yeah, that part didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, he just is not cooperative with Bond and doesn't want to give any answers.
I mean, at the same time though, this guy wore the same shirt every single day. So he didn't change.
He did.
It was the same bright red shirt he wore every single day. So maybe he's just got stuff going on, just kind of let him go. He's just a different type of guy.
I didn't think of it that way, but yes, Quarrel does wear the same red shirt in every scene. It definitely takes place over at least 2 days.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3, yeah.
Well, yeah, he meets him during the day, and then they're like at the club that night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's the next day. Yeah, Bond has stuff to do. Then they sail to the island at night.
At night, yeah.
So it's...
3 days.
Well, at least those 2 days, it's understandable. But he should have changed his shirt before going out. I'm gonna wear bright red. Okay.
I think he was my favorite character just because of that.
It was a fine character.
And I guess, while we're talking about, the colors and stuff, so this was 1962, and Shadow Man has this on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really know what the quality would be like. But as soon as it started playing, I'm like, oh, this is not too bad at all. This is a real like high quality looking film. It's got real vibrant colors. Um, yeah, there's a lot of like bright blues, bright reds. They place certain flowers in certain places to kind of like liven up the scenery. And then even like the introduction is just all just bright colors and like 60s like style, just flashing colors, and it wasn't too bad. It definitely got my attention.
Yeah, you gotta remember that color was a not new, but it was still not exactly the normal with movies. You know,
Yeah.
it was pretty expensive to make a color movie. So, if you could afford it, you would throw that color in people's faces, and there's probably quite a few films from that period that are like that in that regard.
Yeah, and there was, since we're talking about the age, there was a green screen shot that was, I mean, today's standards, pretty poor, pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But for back then, I don't know, it might have been decent.
Yeah,
Like,
it's hard to say.
yeah, but I mean,
You're
I
talking
don't-
about the driving scene, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
driving scene. I'm not sure when green screen stuff kind of started to be in films,
Right.
but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't completely terrible.
It
but
would have been better if Sean Connery wasn't doing this with the steering wheel.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
that really kind of kills it. When he's doing this and the car's going straight.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I had to, someone in editing had to have been like, can you take 2 hours to shoot him with just his hands on the wheel, calmly doing that, or like,
Mhm.
no, we just have to work with what we have. Okay.
There was another part where they are infiltrating an island in the middle of the night, and Shadow Man, at the same time, I noticed that he discusses the filter, the nighttime filter, where you can see like shadows, like it's definitely like
It's definitely daytime, and they just put a sunglasses lens
yeah.
over the camera lens
Yeah.
to make it appear night. I don't know how convincing that was back in the day,
It
but
had to be a really bright moon, full moon, maybe like 3 full moons.
I gotta tell you, they kept using that for another 10 years.
Oh.
Like,
Oh no.
yeah, that's. And it's not just that. There's other things where the film shows its age, for better or worse.
Mhm.
The scene with Miss Moneypenny, beginning,
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's wearing the fancy dinner jacket coming from the Baccarat game, and Miss Moneypenny says, "You never take me to dinner looking like this. You never take me to dinner at all." And he explains he would, but M would have him court-martialed for what was...
Like inappropriate use of government property.
Yeah. She's referred to as government property. And she's flattered by it. Illegal use of government property.
Yes.
I think that was
Yeah,
the
not
line.
inappropriate to leave.
And she's flattered by it. And whatever, it's a sign of the times. For better or worse, it shows the era from which it comes from.
Yeah, and I guess the good thing about this, like these very old films, is you get to see kind of like what life looked like back then. So, like Sean Connery, I grew up knowing him as the salt and pepper haired, angry looking guy who just seems mad all the time. I don't know why, that's how I thought. But he looks extremely calm and young and handsome, and I was like, oh, this is a little different. You have all the classic cars, some really beautiful, nice cars in this. Um, you have Pan American Flight. They use that a lot, which I mean they went bankrupt in 1988 after the Lockerbie disaster. Um, yeah, in terms of like the age of that, that's where I end with that. But
It does seem overall, when you compare it to the other James Bond movies, it's a little light on the action. But it does have a little more detective work kind of thing, which fans of it will point out. Will think like when he gets to his hotel room, he checks it for being bugged, and he pulls a hair out of his head and puts it over the closet to see. When he gets back, he looks for that hair to see if they've been searching his stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff you don't see a whole lot in the later movies. So fans of these earlier ones will point that out as a positive. Oh yeah, you don't see that. I would like to point out that at one point they tried to kill him with a tarantula, and those don't kill people, so that's a little goofy, but no less scary for what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wake up that way.
No.
That's for sure. Yeah, a couple other things I'll just add here before we end it. The fight scenes were weak. I didn't really care for them. I think the choreography wasn't great, and there was just a lot of fake hip tosses and stumbling, and it wasn't the best. But what was really good was the set design. Whether it was just the offices that they were in, or like the clubs, or Dr. No's underground lair. They were all just different, and it looked really nice.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I have is I've never read the book this is based on, but I've heard it's fairly close as far as the movies go. Usually they're pretty far removed from the books. The only major thing that seemed to be missing from the movie than from the book is that there was a reason why he was drugged and then fed well. Is apparent. I've only heard this. I haven't read the book, but I've heard that there's like an obstacle course he has to go through, and Dr. No wants to see, the perfect specimen of a man, what he can endure. It's sort of like an experiment.
Okay.
I've read a couple of the books, but Dr. No's not one of them.
That makes a little more sense now.
You're right. It seems kind of like, well, what the hell is... Why did he drug him just to invite him to dinner?
Yeah. Some people, who knows? Who knows what he's thinking? But yeah, overall, like, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I've heard one reviewer say this is James Bond vanilla. And that you can tell if you like the movie, if it's better than this one, it's a good James Bond movie. If it is not, then it is not a good James Bond movie.
Oh.
That is one criteria I've heard from another reviewer.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to add on to this?
I'll flex that I got the poster. Probably can't see it like that, but we'll get a close-up of that.
We'll get it done. Perfect.
Fix it in post.
Yeah.
That is a replica of the movie poster that I have. I have 4 of them from the James Bond movies. Just Dr. No happens to be one of them.
Yeah, I think that's all I'll add for this one.
Okay.
So next we have episode 18. Now, you wouldn't have to know what that would be, would you?
Next episode, for the first time, a movie will be picked that I know you have seen at least a portion of. Back to the Future.
Yes, I have seen a little bit of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down for that. From what I recall, it wasn't bad at all. So yeah.
Tune in next time.
or not, but you probably should. If you want. No pressure. Alright, bye guys.
Alright.